Alright, welcome back. So today, while I'm painting in the background, I'm going to talk about the biggest benefit that I got from minimalism, how it's improved my outlook on life, the way I think about things, and improved my money situation. As always, a quick disclaimer, I'm not some expert on minimalism or anything I talk about, I'm just sharing my experience. For those of you who don't know what minimalism is, my really oversimplified definition is minimalism is all about simplifying your life. Usually, it's focused on getting rid of the stuff that you own that doesn't really add any value. So, after hearing about minimalism for a while, I decided to give it a shot, and I did what I think most people do, and I just had a big clear out. I would look at all the things I owned and asked if they really brought me any value or if it was just something I had picked up along the way. I was surprised by how much stuff I actually owned and how much of it really didn't add anything to my life. They were just taking up space. Even although I knew they weren't adding any value, I found it quite difficult to get rid of. But since I wanted to give this a fair shot, I threw it all out. After I was done and I'd been living with much less stuff for a few days, I noticed that I felt overall just much more refreshed, a little bit more clear headed, and I didn't actually miss any of the things that I'd thrown out. While this was good and worthwhile doing, I was left a bit confused because a lot of people really raved about how amazing this whole minimalism thing was. And for me, it was cool, but nothing major. It was something that I kept going in my life. I'd just be a bit more aware of the things that I would buy, but apart from that, there wasn't really much change. The real benefit wouldn't happen for a couple more years, when being the mild self-help junkie that I am, I was doing a goal-setting exercise. The whole idea was that you'd imagine a day in your perfect life where you've got everything you could ever want, so you'd have this vision that inspires you enough to make and stick to your goals. Now, I'd done this exercise once before a few years earlier, before I tried the whole minimalism thing. I remember it just feeling a bit like a big expensive shopping list. I wanted a penthouse, an awesome car, massive art studio, that kind of thing. And I was curious to see if that would have changed at all after spending a few years being more aware of the stuff I wanted. Doing the exercise for the second time, I found that even though I thought of a lot of the same things, there was a lot less attachment to it. It was more, that would be cool, if I had infinite money, I'd buy that penthouse, but I didn't feel motivated by it. What I found myself thinking about more and more was what would I actually do if I had all of this stuff? What would my day-to-day actions be? The more I thought about it, the more I noticed that basically 90% of my enjoyment that I would have from living an average day in my perfect life would come from how I actually spent my time, not from the things that I owned. Like, I want the big art studio, but what really mattered about the big art studio was the function, a place to do more paintings. I want to live in a really awesome place, but that was actually just so there would be a space that friends could come and stay and hang out in. When I started looking at things this way, I found that most of these things that I actually wanted could be done right now, regardless of the amount of stuff I had. I don't need a big art studio or an awesome place to live to spend more time painting and hanging out with friends. This was when minimalism started to take on a whole new meaning for me. Rather than just applying it to the stuff I bought and owned, I started applying it to how I spent my time. I would look at what I was doing in a day and ask if the actions I was taking were adding anything to my life. Just like when I did that first big clear out, I found that most of the things I was doing didn't really matter to me. I had filled my life with actions that didn't add any value in the exact same way I had done with the stuff that I owned. When I got rid of the actions, just like with the things, I found that I didn't miss them at all, and it also opened up free time for me to do what mattered. Thinking about things this way also changed the way I spend money. Because I'm much more focused on the way I'm spending my time, I naturally spend a lot less money on random things that just take my fancy. I just don't feel the need to buy them anymore, because lots of these random things just look like distractions that are going to take my time away from what matters. This is great because it means that I have more money, for one, and two, I can take some of that extra money I'm saving and spend it on things that genuinely support the way I want to live. Basically, the real benefit that I get from minimalism is that it changed the way I look at time and money. Instead of thinking, how can I spend my time and money on getting things that I want, I think, how can I take the time and the resources that I have and spend more of it doing what matters and building a life that supports that. So that's my thoughts on minimalism. I'd love to know if you've tried it, and if you have, what your experience has been. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop me a like and subscribe if you want to know when my next video comes out. Take it easy.